Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am with the one and only Dave Minerva. We're in a B&I group together. We've grown to be close friends. Somebody I kind of look up to within the group, just his poise, his business experience, how much of a family man he is, and just how you have things together. That's kind of what you strive. Those are goals you look for, in yourself when in your course and journey of becoming a successful business owner. And he has ups and downs, and that's kind of why I wanted to interview him and get to know him more, and I wanted y'all to get to know him more, because everybody thinks it's always about glamorous, about fast cars, it's about, gorgeous wife. If y'all see his wife, she's very gorgeous, but it's not all about being on TV, and it's not all about, the flashy cars. It's about family, it's about friends, building memories, and encouraging other people, not just on the spotlight. So I really wanted to interview him. I appreciate you taking this time out to sit with me. And
yeah, thanks for having me, and welcome to our Experience Center at Executive Electronics. Brandon is a friend of mine and is doing all the right things, and I appreciate having a chance to explain a little bit about what my journey's been and what the company has provided and become.
Yeah. So let's tell him a little bit about yourself, because I don't want y'all to think he just fell upon success. His family's been in business for 41 years. Life partner, Addie, got 2 children. He loves baseball, hunting, and fishing. He started a fraternity in college, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of people do that. And he was a busser and a farm boy. And that kind of was stuck with me, because you got to have a type of work ethic, a grunt type of work ethic to be that. And just to be able to switch hats and, dress up and step in a room and do deals, it takes a lot. So I want to pass it on to him, ask him where did his career started. Did he see himself being where he was when he first started his career? I know a lot of us don't know where we're going to end up. But yeah, Dave, so tell us about where you started first as a business owner, but before Executive Electronics.
Sure. Yeah. I think our story and our journey has a lot to do with who we become and what we're willing to do. And it does absolutely take doing a lot of different jobs or projects or roles to find out what you want to do and how you're going to be a great leader and how you're going to bring a vision to a company. For me, great middle class upbringing from the Midwest, and had a lot of different projects and jobs. I was shoveled snow and did landscaping and had a paper route. We got up at 5 in the morning and shoved papers into little cellophane wrappers, and we just always were working and doing jobs. We'd be hired to do anything, and we loved to work. Our family's kind of always done that. Older brother, younger brother, a lot of really good competition and rivalry and pushed each other a lot, in whether it was sports or in business. And so whether it was my first real job at McDonald's, which I recommend everybody does. I was 15 years old. They put a black shirt on me. They didn't let me do anything except for take out the trash. And for those of you that don't know, every single trash bag at McDonald's leaks. And so after you end up putting the trash out, you were too young to pour coffee because there was liability. Then you would mop because you had a leaky trash bag. And you just learned that it really takes what it takes. You really have to do whatever it takes to go get a paycheck. And you really learn about what you dislike or what you want to try to change. And so being at the entry level or doing the grunt work is the most amazing thing in the world. I mean, I had a project where I worked one summer building a retaining wall, and it went way too long. And that was the year I hit 15 home runs. And I said, my God, if I put in the work and my shoulders are developed, swinging a bat feels like swinging a toothpick. Yeah. Or digging 6 foot by 6 foot holes to put in trees for somebody one summer. So for me, it goes back to hard work pays off. And it didn't in the company for a long, long time. I mean, this business has been in business, I like to say, for 1 year, 42 times. Every year has been totally different. Every year has had this hurricane or a pandemic or a recession, and there's no perfect game plan. But if you have great people, you're willing to outwork, everybody, and you want to make it better, and you get up, from a place that is, I want to make it better. I want to make this a better opportunity.
Yeah.
It grows. I remember when we had 10 employees. I remember when it was, every day I would have to sell it, or my brothers, we would sell it, we would go get it, we would stage it, and we wouldn't tell anybody we didn't actually have any work tomorrow. We just kind of would actually go make it happen.
Yeah.
And act like in the morning, yeah, we're busy today, be ready, you're here,
Yeah.
good thing. And then now you got 55 employees, and we're probably the premier custom integrator in our area. And doing home automation and lighting control systems and really lifestyle systems. And so for me, it's been a journey of failures.
Yeah.
A lot.
I want to double back to what you said earlier about when you're still trying to find your way. How can people, when they on their journey, how can they focus on getting better when the money is not aligning to their purpose or their passion? Because a lot of times we do the type of jobs or the work and we know we're not getting paid enough for it. But what's some type of jewels you can drop to the audience that, hey, if you're not at an ideal job, you're not getting paid your ideal, pay cut, what's something to keep you motivating, like, just to keep people motivated and not just thinking about the money? Because the money's not always going to be there when
Sure.
you're working.
Yeah, no, it's true. You got to sacrifice. So it's either you're going to sacrifice time, you're going to either spend it with the family, or you're going to spend it on the hustle and making sure that you're able to spend the next 10 years. It's not easy. You need enough money to do it. But you got to make sacrifices, whether it was, sharing a vehicle or finding a way to do certain things that are more efficient, or, taking out a loan, or making sure that you're able to take care of the others. But it's just all sacrifices, and there's no perfect answer for that. It's, for me, you make me really think back. I wanted to learn every part of everything, so I was irreplaceable. I wanted to understand, and I have a long way to go of what I really truly want and need to understand about all the facets and different areas of business. But for me, it's sales are number one. You have to be able to sell yourself every day, and you have to be able to learn what's happening 2 or 3 steps behind you and what that experience is. So if I could keep in front of clients long enough, if I could make sure they were paying attention to me and I was making good touches, they weren't going to talk to competitors. If we were really honest with what we were going to do and we delivered it, we under-promised and over-delivered, we were going to get the next project. And I knew eventually I'd get a pipeline. And I was just willing to put in more hours. I was just willing to do more, and I was willing to learn what it was from operations and admin and service and construction and different facets from sales and engineering. And that was where I made myself irreplaceable. And whether you're in the family or not, you get maybe sometimes a perception that, man, it must be kind of easy. Let me tell you, your family expects more out of you, and everybody's watching you. So in a family business, the hierarchy is really prevalent. Everyone knows where everybody stands. And if you're not doing more and willing to do more, people won't follow. And you can't make people follow. You have to be willing to do more and to find out the right way or reason, and to be honest and go like, this isn't right, this doesn't work, let's change. So it's kind of a few things. You got to have the sales. You need to be able to sell yourself every single day. You got to create some trust. And it's hard because every one of you has a competitor, or a dozen. And all we're asking for is one project or one chance, one commitment. I know you're in business and you're successful, but could you consider using Executive Electronics for one project? That's all I'm asking for. And if your experience is different, then have us for one more.
That's awesome. That's touched. It's so much easier saying it. I know when people hear it, they get that golden glow. They get motivated. But tell us a little bit more about the sacrifice. Get into details. Tell us about some long nights. Tell us about, having to learn through some of the challenges you had to face and you had to go to sleep and wake back on it the next day. Like, talk to us a little bit more about that so people see, like, yeah, it's, how did you learn about your competition? Like, how did you study? Tell us some strategies that it's not just going through college or, taking through, like, talk to us a little more about what it took.
Well, I would say learning about your industry is important, but that's going to take experience. Experience takes over. So at the beginning, when you don't really have the experiences that you need, you got to ask a lot of questions and be willing to do something additionally. Mm-hmm. The sacrifices might be the evening, it might be the weekend, it might be away from the kids, and it might be hard to tell a 5-year-old that I'm going in early and I'll be back after dinner.
Yep.
And that's not fun. That's a tough place to be. But every man's got to do it. You have to do it. You can't just work a job. You got to kind of have a goal and have a career, and it pays off. So, I called competitors. I acted like I might have been another client. I saw how they answered the phones. I walked into places that were open to the public. I was a sponge. And I think a lot of folks want to be where you are when you're successful. I celebrated 20 years at this company a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
But who was willing to do all the work it took? Not many. So if you're willing to just outwork, you're gonna outwork your industry or your area, people are gonna want to work with you. So I can't point to one individual moment. I mean, I remember, driving away and my son breaking down and crying, saying, "Daddy, don't go." And my brother and my wife going, "Oh, wow." And I went, "Ty, I'll be back, but I've got to take care of this. And I've got to handle this business. I've got to do the job it's going to take." But that stuck with me too. Luckily, I've had enough moments where I'm very, very front and center and present with my family. But you can either have a perfect relationship with your kids and be home all the time, or you can go create something that they can possibly take with them. And you make sure you're present for the moments you can be present at and you're not on the phone. So it's a balance.
That's thoughtful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you digging deep and sharing that with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's just no pretty road to the top. Success isn't pretty. And people see success and it looks pretty, but they just don't know what all that goes into it. A lot of tears, anxiety, stress. And even with business, you mentioned you had to call on competitors. You had to pivot points. I know you wasn't always the top preferred vendor, but now you are. So I know you had to add services to the company. Right. What pivot changes that you did, that the family did, to make Executive Electronics the company that it is today?
Sure. Again, educating yourself and trying to make all the mistakes. I've made every mistake. My brothers, my folks have made every mistake you can make. You're going to make them. And it's not if it goes wrong during the day or that month, it's when it goes wrong. And we're in a service company. And so we're going to have failures, we're going to have situations. It's being honest and upfront right away and wearing that and turning that into a positive. So it's still very much, our core values are integrity, right? It's going to be integrity number one, or you don't get a chance to be a part of the team, right? It's going to be quality. We want to focus on quality. There's a boatload of security and home automation and audio video companies out there that do a service, but you either get price or quality. We wanted to be quality, all right? Teamwork, grit, and positive attitude, positive energy. Those 5 are what we really, as we started to kind of narrow down in, it took some time and some experience. We said, who are we going to be? What are we going to do? And when we focused on integrity, quality, teamwork, grit, positive energy, we got rid of the people or the culture that was in the way. We removed the individuals or the processes that stood in the way and focused really hard on, let's make sure that we do a really good job with the people side. We don't need the perfect technician that knows everything and is the best. We need people that people want to work with. We need people that want to get into a team, people that are going to be gritty and grimy and work hard through it. So it pivoted there. Plus, it pivoted for us when we got into the lighting and the shading side of the business. That was a big mark for us. And recently, I think a big one for us is Executive Outdoors, where we're doing outdoor kitchens, landscape lighting, landscape audio. So continuing to diversify. Like for us, we always say we're about an inch deep and a mile wide. We're not a security alarm company. We're not just doing cameras. We're not just doing speakers or the 100-inch Sony TV or projections. You know, it's a full lifestyle company. It's a full technology custom integrator company. We're going to take all the electronics that you can dream up. We're going to make them work. We're going to give you 1 or 2 apps to play inside of, and then we're going to service the heck out of it. So it's took little by little a security alarm company, then take on audio video, then structured wire and Wi-Fi networks, then lighting and shading, and outdoor world. So it's continuing to grow and evolve. Don't stay set with what you think is right. You got to stay out in front.
Man, that's a lot. You hit us with a lot of golden nuggets. When you say that, you know, inch deep, mile wide, I think of a lot of people say don't spread yourself out too thin by doing too much stuff. So, I mean, I know you have a full team, a family that, you know, overrides everything, but how do y'all, and I know you say, you know, the culture, you got to wean out, you know, and stick to the core values, but through all the chaos, the sales, trying to get the business, trying to maintain, you know, the equipment and the product, how are you managing that? How are y'all budgeting? How are y'all?
Well, you surround yourself with better people. And that's like the cliche that's the most true in the world. And it goes back to, again, culture and core values. Just keep going back to that. And then all the answers are there. And it's really obvious because everybody's talking about the same thing. But I've got like 7 different business owners that are here that were doing other things. I've got a ton of, you know, my construction manager has been here almost 20 years.
Okay.
We've invested in the people side. And so when I have, and we have folks that are better than you are at certain, I mean, I did all the sales, and then I would go do all the permitting, and then I would do all the plan design, and then I would stage. I thought I was the only person that could estimate. So there was nobody that could ever come up with how to take all the parts and all the labor and the tax and the markup that you want and all the services and put that on paper. That's impossible. No one could do that but me. I realized when I finally let go, wow, there's like 5 people that are way better at that than I am. Way better. And I taught them and trained them, and they took my teaching and my trainings and went, have you thought about this? Well, this could be faster. I went, wow, I don't have to worry about estimates. I need to worry about face-to-face communication. So everything that we did to layer in, we got better people, and we took the time with those people. And then it allowed me to do, or Johnny or Greg or other folks in the company that are not in the family, to certainly focus on what they're great at, which is sit down, build a connection, start a relationship, build trust, hold the values up high, the bar up high, and then everyone else is just delivering. So you remove yourself a little more all the time when it's right. And that's the freedom, and that's the growth, and that's what works.
Yeah.
You can't be a superstar forever. You just can't. You got to be great at dividing up and creating the systems and processes and cheering people on and get out of the way sometimes.
Yeah. I know you say you got a lot of brothers. That, of course, sharpened up the iron. Sports, you know, to have you as a team player, but your mindset, you know, to have that winning mindset, to know when to step back, to be selfless, and to be like, okay, I'm gonna delegate this, I'm gonna delegate that, or just to know when to do it. Like, who's helping you? Did you have a mentor? Like,
yeah, my dad, man. I mean, my mom was a mentor in some ways, just staying out of it as much as she could and just being supportive. But my dad is very much of the role of being very involved and in the company, was a massive mentor. I mean, he's the one, you know, and my mom together, but my dad, much more active role. But those two together are mentors for many inside the company. You know, took their life savings, poured it into this company, was not a success. Basically paid in taxes what we made. It was ground level. They took on all the risk. They took on all the crazy. And then I came down a couple of years later and started to build on the sales side. So, but the mentor side is very much John Minerva and Louis Minerva. So it takes a lot of, I'll just say it just takes a lot of failure.
It was patriotic for you to give them the credit, especially your father.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't easy. So if you ask the direct question of, well, how'd you come up with it? There was some family room drag out conversations of, you're doing too much. You got to let go. So sometimes it's suggested, then you're not, it took a long time to talk like this with family, but we try to focus on saying it's either this is working or it's not working. Not you're bad or this is wrong or this is the worst or you suck. It's this works or this doesn't work. Dave, does it work for you to spend 30 to 40 hours a week estimating and spend 15 to 20 hours a week doing sales appointments and helping with permitting? When does it break for you? So it's being able to have honest conversation and be able to take some feedback, which I think so much of every generation needs to work back towards. Take some feedback and realize you need to listen and you need to adjust. And it's not easy. Sometimes someone has to grab you and shake you and say, you can't go to the next level if you're not willing to change. We have to continue to evolve and change and give in and just shift.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. You dropped a lot on us. You answered questions that I didn't even ask yet. You know, I appreciate that.
It's fun to talk about, especially with someone like yourself that's a hustler and wants to be great. So it's fun.
Yeah, we're go-getters, and we're men amongst men, and we want to do better by the generation after us.
Absolutely.
And we realize, it's craziness goes on. We have to do more. We can't just sit on the sideline and keep letting the shenanigans go by. So I mean, as much as I do not like being on the camera, I couldn't find nobody to fill in this role. So it's like, now I got to do it, just so we can connect more. Just so people who, the young guys who look like me, who think y'all can only be rappers or ball players, y'all can work. Y'all can be a construction guy or video audio, and y'all can do business and sit down in rooms with people like Dave Minerva and be accepted or be liked, and they'll do business with us. It just takes some honesty and integrity and having core values and a foundation that's built on so people can trust to work with you. So we answered questions about trends, integration technology. Let's talk a little bit more about your business, because I know you offer so many core features. Like, people can control the lighting from their phone in their homes, or check out the camera system from their home. Talk a little bit more about that. Like, when did that pop up? How did you hear about that? What made you implement that into your company?
So Mom and Dad's background, my dad was in McDonald's Corporation for 25 years. After 9/11 happened, it was a change in our family, like a lot of other regular middle-class families. It changed a lot of things. And, he grabbed a Post-it, an old crusty yellow Post-it in his office in the house, and he said, I'm going to do this year. And it said, own my own business, live on the water, buy a boat, get out of here and do something I've been wanting to do, but it's been good moving up through McDonald's Corporation. And they called him and said, you're going to Chicago. We're going to change a bunch of stuff. And he said, I'd rather not. Give me whatever severance package whatever you can give me. I got to go do what I want to go do, and I want to go make it my own thing, right? And so security, he was head of security and operations for over like 113 McDonald's in that tri-state area, and was from nothing, and worked in McDonald's and became in the corporation and did some stuff. But he had security, and he had that whole attitude and mindset. So he looked at a few different companies, one in Lauderdale, one in Corpus Christi, one in Naples. And Mom and Dad said, let's go. That's the one. And so, security was easy for him. And we always kind of grew up with that mindset because we were in the house and just wore off probably a little bit to be thinking and to be looking. But that was a good business model, because I think every business model is helpful when you have a reoccurring monthly revenue, an RMR model, where you get relationships and you create reoccurring That reoccurring, that nest egg that you can build that keeps paying every month is big. So that's what it was for a long time. It was fire alarms and water leak detection systems and access control. And then we really learned how to, in our industry, especially the security industry, is charge a little bit of money up front, make a little bit of money on the back end, on the monthly, very honest, very tight margins, very simple, straightforward stuff, right? And then with a couple acquisitions, one major one with Premier Security, we acquired a company that was in audio video and just starting home automation. We're putting in speakers, putting in sound systems, putting in TVs and doing that sort of work. And so instantly in our roots, we kept thinking about service. Well, boy, we better service well. And a lot of the audio video world, they install the TVs, the Best Buys or the other competitors, they install the TV speakers. They get out of that house as fast as they can do it. And they don't want to come back. They want to get that payment, that big margin, that big whatever they can get and get on to the next one. Whereas we were kind of like, but what about like, when do we see them again? Because we were built as a service company mindset, not an installation deployment mindset. So we took our roots, which is security and fire alarm and life safety, and started adding that to what we call our lifestyle systems, where we have other deployments like lighting control and home automation and audio video and shading. And you look around, anything electronic and anything that moves and anything that can automate. And we started thinking in terms of come out every few months and clean the cameras, come out every few months or twice a year and do firmware updates on the Wi-Fi network and on the router and modem and be able to reset the rack system and all the AV components. And yes, eventually, one of the big changes for us in the technology world was app control for everything. The iPhone came out and slowly behind that, everybody was connected to everything. And so as apps were created and third-party integration came through some major players like Control4 and Elan and Savant, we kept adding in ways that make control easy. And I think the big deal for us was that we were a service company first and focused on little by little staying connected to clients versus an installation company. But the reoccurring model is still there today, where we want to do inspections and we want to, not maintenance agreements where we only win, but inspections where we actually come out, do a technology refresh, find updates in the Apple TVs or in the actual television itself or in the wireless access points and really create a value where we're really sticky. And I think as a business, if you're very sticky and you're very integrated with the clientele, you're just easier to keep around. When you're looking to cancel contracts or monthly services, you're not usually going to cancel the tech company. So that was big.
No, that is huge. Y'all do a lot, and it seems like y'all do it because y'all really want to help. Y'all want to make sure.
We do a lot. And we do. And it seems, and like I said, it was getting to be an inch deep, mile wide, and now verticals are getting deeper and driving down before they drive upward and those sorts of things that happen. It's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun. And our motto is your lifestyle made simple. Our goal is that everything you do and touch is 3 button presses or less. It's easy to use, it's easy to duplicate, and we're not losing people. So it's a constant battle to take technology, simplify it, and make it, able to be reproduced and better every time.
I bet.
That's the company.
Technology changing, products changing, and competition always grows. So you got to find a way to stand out. But what are some goals? Where do y'all see yourself in the short term and long term? Executive electronics.
Yeah. So we have it's where to start with that. We do a lot of business planning. And so we have 1 year, 3 year, 10-year goals. Our big vertical, our big launch out for us is going to be, the outdoors, executive outdoors. You take the same experience that we're able to provide inside the home or business and bring it to the outdoor spaces, which people are spending a lot of time and money and effort. When the weather's nice, you want to gravitate to those outdoor spaces. So the outdoor grills, the Evos, the Big Green Egg, all the appliances, the cabinetry, the countertops, it falls in our warehouse because most of our business comes from construction in Southwest Florida, high-end custom homes, luxury home owners, but also not just the builder, but the architect and the interior designer.
Yeah.
And when they're shouting out, I wish I had someone good that could do this, we listen, and little by little we add something every few years. So our goals are that we have a really great executive outdoors division. Our goals are that we have some milestones, obviously with revenue, but it's making better experiences, better processes. We've invested a lot of time and money in software, which we hate to do. No one wants to spend money on that stuff. Wow. But we have to be able to remove an individual and still operate. And that's the biggest thing, because at the end of the day, it's 100%, we always talk about 100% customer satisfaction. It's not 95, it's 100% customer satisfaction. If we do that, we get the next one. No matter how strong or weak we think the relationship is, if we deliver the right way, they're going to remember the experience and they're going to invite us back for the next one. Yeah. So it's been a focus on how can we replace. We actually do something here at Executive with, if you're at the company for 10 years, you get a paid sabbatical and it's mandatory. Wow. You turn in your phone, you forward your emails, you take your laptop and your tool belt, whatever your role is, and you're getting a paid 4 weeks off and no one's allowed to talk to you, because John Minerva and Louis Minerva believed, and I've been able to partake in it. It's been great. But if you can do that, you really have a good company. If you can take a top key level person and just disappear, it's healthy. It's a great reset. It allows other people to have growth paths that'll surprise you. And I came back from my sabbatical and took pretty much a stack of some stuff and put it right into the trash can and got a reset, because people handled it. So it takes time, but we're big believers in that type of growth. Those are the visions. Okay. Those are the visions for our growth.
Man, I feel like I read one of my favorite books. You dropped so much key things on me today, but I hope the audience really grasps that it takes sharpening, it takes practice, it takes not being complacent, it takes hunger, it takes a sovereignty, divine being, it's a faith in anything, whatever it is, whoever your God is. It takes just believing in something more, so when you can wake up and go back 100%. And the journey is not easy. Wherever you are, wherever your circumstance is not perfect. None of us have a pretty past, but it's all about what we make from it in the future, and try to do better the next day. Just when you're out in the street, just help a stranger, open a door for them, or buy them a candy. You never know how it could change their mindset. You never know if they was gonna go in a car and run into a road and kill 2 people, but you probably saved 2. So I appreciate him, Dave Minerva, taking his time out to talk to us, to share what really made him successful. And if y'all didn't catch, his mindset is still not over yet. Still hungry, still going at it, still trying to figure out how he can better serve his clients. And that's the mindset we all need to have, because it's really all on us. So before we wrap up this interview, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Because you gave us everything you got.
It was a lot of fun. And I think that I appreciate Brandon and Dreams Make Money. I appreciate that, because we all need to take a step back, reflect a little bit, remember where we came from, because it's going to be humility, and it's going to be failure, and it's going to be the way you remember yourself and the way you felt as a young entrepreneur, or just as a young worker. You knew you had to go make some money. You didn't even know what you were doing. It's healthy, and it's good to go back and remember where we're from and focus on the point that you're going to win with, every time you're going to win with the people, and you need to invest in it. You can't fake it. You can't do it halfway. You've got to truly invest your time and energy and effort in other people, and then you can really rip something off. And then it's exponential, and it starts to really funnel in. So it's just been fun. I really appreciate you making me think about it and remember. And any way that I can be of help, or I love watching and being a part of and listening to any of these podcasts, because we're just people, and we really are just trying our best, and we're learning things as we go. But keep the core values and the people and the integrity at the top, and you will be successful for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up. Where can we find Executive Electronics if somebody want to tap into the business? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so we're up in Tampa. We've got an operations and a big presence, obviously, at our location in Bonita, and we're down here in downtown Naples at what we were calling the southernmost showroom, but we call this the Experience Center. And you can obviously find us on Instagram and Facebook and anywhere there. But we have a pretty amazing tour as people work through our Experience Center to have working and active top best technologies. But you'll see us everywhere. You'll see the signs. You'll see the yard signs and the vans, and hopefully more and more to come.
Awesome.
So,
It certainly will. All right, well, y'all, that's all for this evening. I wish y'all a blessed remainder of the year, and y'all take care. Be great.